Oh, thanks for playing that promo video. They got me pumped.
It looks like a fun movie. Just, it's no UHF, but then again, what is? Although, I think I said this last time. It's just like, I really wish. I'm going out of sequence here, but I'm just gonna throw that out. I really wish the Complete Al got as much attention as the other projects.
Oh, you like that one?
I love that one. I really do. I really do. It's the montage and the original stuff, and that was your first foray, really.
First home video release, I guess it was. Yeah,
Yeah.
It was a Showtime special, and they released a longer version of that for CBS Fox Home Video.
Yeah.
But it didn't tell the real Weird Al story, not like the biopic did.
No. I absolutely, which is sacrosanct truth, and I'm so glad that we now know the true story.
Yes.
About that.
I had to get the truth out there.
But we're still waiting for the lost tapes of Me, Myself, and I to emerge.
Yeah, well, that got erased going through TSA at the airport.
I know. But you ever thought of re-recording it?
Oh yeah.
Okay. How you been?
I've been all right. How have you been? You never call, you never write. I'm worried sick about you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's okay. I had a little sniffles a while ago. Wasn't the C word,
okay.
so we're
all
good.
Right.
All right. That's fine. We did.
Not chlamydia.
I know.
Okay, good.
It was so weird because we were doing our show in Des Moines, and I think you were right across the street doing a concert. So I was hoping we'd pop in for a minute or something. But
Next time, for sure.
Next time, no, absolutely. So, tell you what, I've asked you this before, but I love how you say it, and I always do this with solo origins. Let's do the origin story. Well, how did this begin?
Well, I believe I was an embryo first, and then a
yes.
fetus.
Yes.
And
Before that, the Earth cooled first.
I don't want
right?
to get into the whole.
And then the dinosaurs came. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it started with the Dr. Demento Show, who's been on the air for 55 years.
Yes.
Thank you. Please
Fans
sit down.
of Demento? Yeah.
But and in fact, Dr. Demento's retiring. In fact, this weekend is his very last show being aired. But yeah, he gave me my start back when I was 12, 13 years old. I was listening to his show. He had a local show on KMET radio in Los Angeles, and my friends were like, "You should listen to this guy. He plays all this weird stuff." And I did. My mother heard me listening to the show and forbade me from listening to it because it had some off-color, double entendre kind of songs in there that she thought was not appropriate. So I had to listen to it with my AM/FM alarm clock radio in my bed with the covers over my head late at night. But it inspired me to write my
earpiece.
Yeah,
the mono earpiece.
Yeah, no, we didn't have the earpiece, so I had just have my head right up against the speaker. But yeah, so that inspired me to start writing my own songs, and I recorded my first songs literally in my bedroom with just me, my accordion, on a tiny little cassette tape recorder, using those compact cassettes you get 3 for $1 at Kmart, like the highest fidelity equipment, and they were not good songs, and I was not a good singer, and it was all very amateurish. But Dr. Demento got the tape, and he thought, it was so novel for a teenage kid to play the accordion and think he was cool. He told me that if I'd recorded the songs on a guitar, he would have just thrown the tape right in the trash. But he thought, oh no, there's something here. There's something here. And he played them on the radio, and my friends and I would call the request lines and kind of stuff the ballot box and try to get it on the radio. And by the time I was in college, my songs were getting popular enough that actually other people were requesting my songs. And My Bologna was the first kind of big hit on the show on its own merit. It was #1 on the Funny Five, and I thought, it's never going to get better than this. This is it. This is the pinnacle.
Was in a locker room or a bathroom?
Yeah, that was a bathroom. So that was when I was in college. That was I was a student disc jockey at KCPR Radio in San Luis Obispo. And there was a bathroom across the hall from the radio station, which we called Studio 229, because that was the number on the door. And I couldn't afford a real recording studio, but that bathroom had these really nice, acoustically perfect tiled walls. And everything sounds better in the bathroom. You get that nice warm reverb effect. So we ran some lines from the production room across the hall into the bathroom, set up a mic next to one of the urinals, and I got a little stool and got my accordion and recorded My Bologna. And that's the version that Capitol Records decided to release, the original bathroom recording.
Yeah. And then hit the ground running. One of the other ones, I Love Rocky Road, was before you did that, because that was kind of like the first one that kind of like got into that I noticed before the Michael Jackson came around. At that point, were you still reaching out to the artists and saying, "Hey, is this okay with you?"
Yeah, we recorded kind of a demo version of I Love Rocky Road, which we gave to like a bunch of radio stations around Los Angeles. So we were getting a little bit of airplay even before there was a record out. But to your point, when we decided to record I Love Rocky Road, I always get permission from the original songwriters. And this is, it was not written by Joan Jett. It was from an old song by a group called the Arrows. And one of the guys in the Arrows that was a co-writer of the song was named Jake Hooker. And when we approached him to get permission, he said, well, I manage a guy named Rick Derringer, you're probably familiar with, and he's a big record producer, and would you consider having him produce your music? And I thought, yeah, I love Rick Derringer. So that was the start of that. Rick produced my first 6 albums.
All right. So this, again, I've always admired the fact that you have always reached out.
Sure.
And you've accepted when they've declined. And,
Yeah.
and I know you've gone down the longer list of stuff like that, too. And we're all very glad that you and Coolio had mended that.
Yeah.
fence. So that was a really good thing of him he got the joke.
Yeah, yeah.
I was very glad on that. What's it like now, since the landscape has changed and we're really not tied into the top 40 radio anymore, and it's harder to identify the hits to possibly look, okay, this might work. So what's your methodology now when you look at the music scene?
Well, you might have noticed in the last decade or so, I haven't really done any straight-on parodies. And part of that is because, yeah, it's a little bit harder with the monoculture not existing anymore. And partly it's just me kind of, wanting to try new things. So I've been trying to get more involved in voice acting and TV and feature film roles and things like that. I'm not saying that I'm not doing any more, but it's not been my focus for a while. So, yeah, but if and when I do that, it's the same process as before. Like I look at the charts, I look what's on the radio, I see if anything jumps out at me, and there've been a lot of acts and songs that I probably could have taken a shot at, but again, I was focused on other things.
And what's the big focus on now for yourself?
Well, we just got off the road like a couple weeks ago. I'm sure there's going to be more touring in the future. I've got half a dozen things which I'm in various stages of development on, but unfortunately I'm not allowed to talk about them quite yet. But because every time I mention something, sometimes it goes away, so, and then people ask for the next 10 years, what happened with this project?
Happened to me, myself, and I.
Right. So I've learned to kind of keep my mouth shut until it actually happens.
Yeah. And that's absolutely fair. So fair. What you've been having a lot of fun in cartoons as yourself. I think I needed to look this up, but I have a theory that I think maybe you might be in animation. You might have been the person who actually played themselves more than anybody else.
I wonder.
I sincerely think that.
That's possible. I don't know.
Yeah, we got look that up. But yeah, what's it been like when you've been tapped to do a character that's not yourself?
That's fun. I mean, I enjoy any kind of voice acting work that I get. Yeah, I looked at like animated references for like all of my voice acting work, and it seems like a third to a half of it is as a version of myself. But I like any kind of work like that. I mean, even when I'm playing a character, it seems like they want me to basically do my voice or my version of my cartoon version of my voice. Which is fine. I really, not that I'm actively trying to do this, but I really appreciate when I'm asked to do something outside the box. Like one time, Andrea Romano, who's an old friend and
Saint Andrea Romano. If you watch any DC cartoon from like 1995 to 2015, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's been the voice casted with those voices. She got all the Justice League, Batman Unlimited. Yeah, it's all her.
But she's amazing, and she asked me to do the doll maker in the Batman and Robin movie, and very much against character. I mean, he's just like this horrible, creepy, super creepy, evil, bad guy, which is a little outside the box for me. But it was fun to kind of tap into that for a little bit and exercise those muscles. And I told Andrea, if you ever want somebody creepy, think of me.
That's the way too. So before I go on back and jump into theirs, what's been the best memory to just come out of all this crazy road you've been on, and you continue to go on, and we're so grateful for that.
So many. I mean, I can't really pick just one. I mean, I'm glad that I get to share all this new success with my family, with my wife and my daughter. And it was so great when my last album, Mandatory Fun, went to #1, which is something that I never in my life thought would happen. To be able to share that with them and to, celebrate that with them, that was just a really meaningful thing for me.
Well, I said this before, and I'll say it again. Thank you. Thank you for your talents. Thank you for your professionalism. Thank you for the performances and the years of just this wonderful entertainment that you've done, and it's been a delight. And we're always looking forward to the next thing.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, come on. Yeah. All righty. Let me arm up here. Okay. Whoever wants to meet me the X, let's go ahead and do some questions for our guests. And we got the rules and all that stuff. First one gets 2 pieces of candy. Oh, hey, hi. Hi, what's your name?
Christina.
What you got, Christina?
Okay. I became familiar with you on the Even Worst album, and some of the songs perplexed me. Can you tell me about anything behind Good Old Days or anything else on that album?
Good old days. So obviously that's, I should preface that by saying that almost none of my songs are autobiographical. I am not, in fact, a serial killer. But that song, the genesis of that song was I was thinking, what would happen if James Taylor co-wrote a song with Charlie Manson? And that was sort of like what I came up with. So it gets very dark.
That's a good one. Hey, what's your name?
Steven.
Hey, Steven.
Hey, I have always tried to memorize your songs, and
Me too.
yeah, that leads into my question, which was some of them get really fast and are really hard. I was wondering if there's any that are difficult for you to perform live.
Yeah, on this last tour, Everything You Know Is Wrong is a tough one because when I recorded that in the studio, I recorded it with basically no breaths. There's nowhere to take a breath. But I really wanted to do the song because it's a big fan favorite, and it's one of my favorites. And we finally had a big enough band on stage where we could kind of pull it off because that's the arrangement's pretty intricate. I had to simplify it a little bit, and I think I took out 2 or 3 words that I didn't really need, so I could do a quick get a little breath in there. So that's a tough one to perform. I'm always a little lightheaded for a few seconds after that song.
Just remember, everything you thought was so important doesn't matter. Hi, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Mads. So I was just wondering, considering the fact that vinyl outsold CDs for the first time in 2022 since 1987 and has done so for the 3rd consecutive year in a row, I was wondering if you had considered maybe re-releasing your albums on vinyl or maybe re-releasing something similar to the Squeeze Box again, since we're coming up on the 10th anniversary of that.
It's not really my call in terms of the old albums. I mean, it's up to the record company whether they want to do that or not. But going forward, since I'm not with a record company now, I can put it out in whatever format that I want. So if I ever do anything else, I would think almost certainly vinyl will be a part of that.
Cool. Come on, thank you. Hi, what's your name?
Hi, name's Casey.
Hey, Casey.
Hey, how's it going again?
Good.
What do you prefer more nowadays, real acting or voice acting?
I think voice acting is real acting. But you mean like on-camera acting is what you're talking about?
Yeah.
I love doing both. I have maybe more of an affinity for voice acting because then I don't have to comb my hair or shave. I just love voice acting because you don't have to memorize anything. You just go into the studio and just have fun, and on-camera acting is a blast as well, and I love doing that. But there's something about voice acting that I just get a real charge out of.
Good question. I like the lantern tattoos on the hands. That's cool.
I got a Catwoman one too.
Nice, good on you. Hey, what's your name?
Bill.
Hey, Bill.
Hi. Basically, my favorite song is Jerry Springer, and I was wondering, do you have one that you would that you think you nailed so well that it is your perfect song?
I get asked a variation on this question a lot, and my stock answer is white and nerdy. Mostly because that's my most autobiographical song. I didn't have to do any research on that. I lived a life already, so.
Good one, thank you. Hi, what's your name?
Hi, my name is Evan. I am a current BFA theater student, and I was just more or less wondering, since you got your start with the Dr. Demento show, is there any advice that you could give to someone that is an up-and-coming, say, like a musician, like theater, musical theater, or even for voice acting, and how would you get that to start, essentially?
Well, for me to get into voice acting, I had like a 40-year recording career to kind of like jumpstart that. It's hard because people can break into the industry in a number of ways. I didn't have YouTube when I was starting out. I had the Dr. Demento show, but YouTube is a great way to get yourself out there, whether it's music or acting or anything. If you got, it's basically a reel. You can present yourself to the world, and if it's really exceptionally good, chances are people will find it and you'll get noticed. So, which is nice because, in the '80s there were all these gatekeepers. You couldn't get on MTV unless like this room full of people in this room in New York thought you were good. And now, you can put yourself out into the world and millions of people can see it. And if millions of people those people will notice. They'll pay attention.
I'll add on to that, because we get that a lot with the voice actors too, is to say, create your own stuff, put it on the free platforms, become so good they can't ignore you, and I look forward to hosting you on stage. No problem. Hey, what's your name?
Hey, I'm Troy.
Hey, Troy.
Hey, so you have a lot of songs that are kind of scatterbrained all over the place, but one of my favorites, I'd say, is Albuquerque.
Thank you.
How do you come up with the lyrics, just the storyline of something like that?
Well, Albuquerque was kind of a special case because I decided I wanted to write the most annoying song of the world, annoying and pointless. And I specifically made it the last song in the sequence of the album because I figured that, I'll put it at the end of the album because nobody's going to want to hear this song more than once. They might not even get to the end of the whole song. So I just figured I'll just make, because when I started writing it, I wrote down all these ideas, pages and pages and pages of ideas. And then normally when I write a song, I then edit it down to a reasonable length. And for this song, I thought, no, I'm just going to use everything. So that was the whole point.
Hi, what's your name?
My name is Julia, and
Hey.
I was wondering if, how often do parents use your song "Eat It" to get their kids to eat their food? Because my dad has done this to me before.
Oh, nice. I don't have a running tally, but I imagine it happens quite a bit, yeah.
Well, it's a good one. Thank you. Hi, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Sadie.
Hey, Sadie.
So we've talked about voice acting already, and I was curious. You've had characters that were made specifically for you, like Milo Murphy or Cheese Sandwich. List goes on. But then there are other characters like Dollmaker or Darkseid from Teen Titans Go. And I was just curious what other pre-existing characters you might like to put your own spin on.
Ones that already exist, you mean, or just
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I don't know. I've always wanted to be in a Pixar movie. Maybe that'll happen someday. I'd like to do that. There are a few animated shows which, oddly enough, I haven't been on yet. and I don't know about specific characters, but I just know that every once in a while, my wife and I'll be watching some show or some animated thing on TV, and I go, I should have done that one.
There you go. Thank you. Hello, mild-mannered reporter from a metropolitan newspaper. I see. Hi, what's your name?
Hello, my name is Jeremiah. You're a very creative man. What would you say your most creative musical endeavor was?
Ooh, creative. It's hard to say. I mean, some of my songs are very complicated. I'm not sure. It's up to you whether you think they're creative, but it was a real challenge to do some of the pastiches. Like I did pastiches of Brian Wilson, I did Pancreas, I did Genius in France, which was Frank Zappa, Jackson Park Express, which is not super obvious, but it's supposed to be sort of like Cat Stevens-ish. So those definitely were the most difficult in terms of arranging and recording. I think like for Genius in France, I spent 4 to 6 weeks just writing that and arranging it because it's like a 9-minute long Zappa-esque song, which it can get very complicated. So again, it depends whether or not that's creative, but it certainly was the most effort.
Good one. Here, have a green one. Ah! Hey, what's your name?
I'm Joey.
What are you dressed as?
Weird Al.
Really? I've heard of him. What's your question?
I was curious of how often you brush your hair.
Whenever I do a convention, I brush my hair.
Yeah.
because I know that somebody will want to take a picture of me.
Yeah, fair. No, that's fair. Fair question. Thank you. Hi, what's your name?
Isabella.
Hello.
All right, so I'm a big fan of Captain Underpants and the DreamWorks Captain Underpants movie. And I was wondering, out of all of your hundreds of movie and your all of your hundreds of songs in your discography, how did you choose that song to include in your set list for 2025's tour?
I was looking at my page on Spotify, and the Captain Underpants theme was like always on the top 5, and like number 2, number 3. I was like, wow, that's I didn't realize it was that big of a hit or that popular with fans. So I think it was mostly based on the fact that Spotify seemed to think it was one of my greatest hits. I figured we better learn the song.
There you go. Good one. Thank you. Hi, what's your name?
Andy.
Hi, Andy. What you got?
So what goes into like a style parody like You Make Me or Genius in France as opposed to like a regular parody?
The regular parodies are a lot less work because the song's already written. And for the style parodies or pastiches, it's a labor of love, really, which is why I generally choose acts that I'm personally a big fan of, or at least acts that have a very identifiable kind of sound or vibe to them, because I basically study their entire oeuvre, their entire body of work, and I make notes about every single little lyrical or musical idiosyncrasy, like, oh, they use this chord change a lot, or they use this like sequence of notes, several times. So that's sort of like, one of the aspects of their music. So once I've got dozens of pages of just notes on like what makes this artist, then I go, okay, now I'm going to put on my demented brain and think, what kind of song would I write if I were this artist, only a lot more sick in the head?
Good question. Thank you. Mhm. Hi, what's your name?
Tim. So recently you performed at Riot Fest. What was it like having people mosh pit to your songs?
It was pretty cool. It's not the first time that's happened. Like when Smells Like Nirvana came out in '92, the whole grunge in Seattle thing was very big. So there were a lot of songs on that tour. I kid you not, people were moshing to the polka medley on that tour. It was kind of, I
Guilty.
Yeah. I like any kind of audience. Like, a respectful sitting audience is great with me, but it's a certain kind of energy, like places like Riot Fest and Shaky Knees, where it's a festival and people are standing up and pushed against the stage and rocking out. And, because I don't play that many rock shows, so it was really cool for me to, be part of that experience.
Good one. Thank you. Hello, what's your name?
Lisa, I have a question. If you were able to teach a class not being architecture, what would it be?
It definitely wouldn't be architecture. Yeah, I don't know. Something music related. I mean, that would be my expertise, I would think. I don't know specifically what that would be. I used to give accordion lessons, so maybe I'd just be an accordion teacher.
Fair. Thank you. Hi, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Joe. So my question is back to White and Nerdy. You and Donny Osmond, that video with the green screen is incredible.
Thank you.
Any backstory on that? And also, did Donny Osmond call you afterwards when the official video came out and there were like 3 seconds of that video in it?
Oh, he knows the drill. He knows that's how editing works. But basically, Donny Osmond, we contacted him because I figured I want the whitest person in the world to be my backup dancer. And he was a great sport. He lives in Salt Lake City, and he flew out to LA. And we gave him a copy of the song so we could kind of learn it. But you never know what you're going to get when you're calling in favors from a celebrity. Because I don't think we paid him. But, it's basically when a celebrity is in a music video, it's for goose, it's for fun. And we thought, I don't know how seriously he's going to take this. But he showed up and he just crushed it so hard. I mean, so we did that first take. We did a coverage thing where we did the entire song, and I'm like doing my thing to the camera, and Donnie's behind me, and I have no idea what he's doing behind me. And then we sat back and we watched the whole first take, and we were both just like screaming and laughing like school children. We couldn't believe how stupid it was. And after the whole video was done and the video did super well, I thought, let's get that original take and just put that up on the internet. And Donnie was fine with that. And it's just a testament to like how talented and how great he is that he was able to just, just nail that so hard. And every take was like that. They were all different, and he just, it was so, and he said that it sort of revitalized his career a little bit, because then he was getting offered all these like white nerdy roles, apparently.
There you go. Thank you. Hi, what's your name?
Ryan, hi. I was wondering, for parodies, what's the most obscure song you've ever used, and were you worried that people wouldn't have that frame of reference to make the whole thing work?
Well, not every parody is intended to be released as a single, so I have a little bit of a wiggle room there. But I think probably the one that was most off the mark, sometimes when I'm getting ready to release an album, I've got everything except for like the last 2 songs, and I'm like, the clock's ticking. I've got the single, but I just need more songs to fill up the album. And I think the biggest misfire was this the Polka Party album? It might have been. But it was Toothless People, which was a parody of Ruthless People by Mick Jagger. And it was the title song of the movie Ruthless People, which I thought was a great movie. It was done by the Zucker brothers, the people that did Airplane. But the single had just come out, and I thought, oh, Mick Jagger, well, it's got to be a huge hit. And we got his permission, and I wrote the song, and in the meantime, the song tanked. And I thought, well, I'm not going to call up Mick Jagger and say, sorry, Mick, your song wasn't a big enough hit for me to do a parody. So we put it on the album. But
There you go. Thank you. Good one. Hi, what's your name?
Chloe. So one of the biggest questions I think I've always asked myself is, throughout your entire career, what has been your favorite parody, whether a classic or not so classic, has been your favorite to perform on stage or in a music video?
Ooh, we talked about white and nerdy. Maybe Yoda. That's something I've done. I don't know of every single concert I've ever done, but it seems like almost all. That's almost always the show closer, and it's something that I've been doing since 1980, since even 5 years before it was recorded. Like ever since The Empire Strikes Back came out. Something I was doing in college, and I still do it to this day on stage, and that's still a fun one to do, and the fans certainly seem to enjoy it. So
Get to wear the Jedi robes.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go. Good one. Thank you. Hello, what's your name?
Nate,
Hey, Nate. What's your question?
do you like my necklace?
I do.
Come forward so we can get a look at it. Come on.
Oh, I love it. Very nice.
Cool. Was that your question? Yeah. Okay, cool. Where'd you get it?
Downstairs.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, thank you for sharing that. All right, round of applause for the necklace. Okay. Hi, what's your name?
Achu.
Oh, Gesundheit. What you got?
Mr. Yankovic, what is your favorite character to play in your voice acting roles?
I get asked that a lot too. I don't really have one. I don't know. I just because it was my biggest role, probably Milo Murphy. Which has never been canceled, by the way. So I'm still waiting. It's been about a decade, but they might bring it back.
There you go. Thank you, one for you, and thank you for your service in Starfleet. We appreciate it. Hi, what's your name?
John.
What you got, John?
So I fell in love with you in 1994. I was at Sam Goody's in Houston, Texas, and I found your album, Dare to Be Stupid. And it was a life-changing event for me. I introduced my daughter to you when she was about 13, and I had a karaoke event, and I sang your song, Albuquerque. And she has listened to you ever since. So my question is, what advice do you give to that generation that will inspire them to just be themselves?
Oh, I don't know how to I mean, that's just sort of been the subtext of everything I've ever done. All my work is like, own your weirdness. It's okay to be weird, It's a good thing.
Cool. One for you and one for your daughter. Thank you. Hello, sir. What's your name?
Arthur.
What you got, Arthur?
Al?
Yes?
What projects, music, acting, whatever, have Suzanne and Nina said that they enjoyed, and alternately, what have they kind of mortified them and made them say, oh, honey, or oh, daddy, why did you do that?
Okay, so. Oh. So what's on his family Spotify?
Yeah. Yeah, they seem to like most of what I do. They're sort of required to. I I don't. That's a good question. I don't know what their favorites would be. Like when my daughter was really little, she listened to the Food album a lot, which is very child friendly and something that she could relate to. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I do much that they're mortified by because they're sort of my sounding board. Like sometimes before I release or post something or whatever, I'll run it by them, and if they're horrified, then I won't post or release it. Or if I post something and then my daughter thinks it's terrible, then I'll quickly delete it. But I try not to do anything that I think would embarrass them too much.
There you go. Good one. Thank you. Hey, what's your name?
James. For Weed Out, just if you can guess or something, just how many Hawaiian shirts do you have in your wardrobe?
That's almost impossible to say. I mean, there's Hawaiian shirts in my house. There's a storage facility with all our tour stuff, which has got racks and racks of Hawaiian shirts. When I got married 25 years ago, my wife went through and she kind of sorted through the ones that I'm allowed to keep. And we donated like 600 or 700 Hawaiian shirts to Goodwill. So I think they probably mostly been sold at this point. So I'm not going to tell you which Goodwill it was. But yeah, it was painful. There was like a literal mountain of Hawaiian shirts that I gave away. But it's nice to thin out. I'm sort of a hoarder at heart. I never threw anything away. And when I got married, my wife went through my stuff, and she was horrified to see that I still kept the shirts that I wore in high school. Some of which fit her very well, by the way. But it was, I'm slowly learning through the course of my life how to lead a more minimalist existence, but it's hard for me because I like to hold on to everything.
Fair. Good question. Thank you. Hey, what's your name?
Hi, my name's Jeremy. I have had a question that has been burning in my mind for years.
Uh-oh.
I saw you live at the DuQuoin State Fair years and years and years ago in Illinois.
You look familiar.
I have that face. Anyway, at the fair during the concert, you became completely swarmed in green bugs.
Yes,
and you
medflies.
seemed that it was the epitome of your career, and you loved it so much that I just had the question, once you were done with that show, did you put it in a rider in all of your future performances that before or after the show that you had to be covered in as many or more green bugs than you were at that?
Well, you gave away the climax of our show here tonight.
Yeah, I might have been slightly ironic when I said that on stage. It's not ever pleasant when you're like performing covered with bugs, or if you take your water on stage and it's full of bugs. That was difficult, and we try to we ask the promoter before every show, am I going to be covered with flies? And if they say no, then I'll say, okay, I'll do the show.
There you go. Fun.
You did a phenomenal job that night.
Thank you.
Awesome. Hi, what's your name?
My name is Gabe. My question is, I know you said in the interview you don't do music like as much right now, but if you were to pick a song like out of the top charts right now, which one would you make a parody of?
Oh gosh, I mean, there's so many. I'd have to look at the charts right now. I've stopped looking at the Billboard charts, which is that used to be such a big part of my job description. So I'm not even sure who exactly is at the top of the charts right now. But there've been like a number of artists over the last couple of years that have been great. I mean, Chappell Roan would be great. Doechii would be fun. Kendrick Lamar would be fun. I mean, there's a lot of people that would be certainly candidates. But again, I just haven't really focused on that.
Do you have a suggestion?
Sabrina Carpenter.
That's another one, yeah.
All right, there you go. All right, there you go. Good one.
My Milo Murphy's Law castmate.
Hey, what's your name?
Chris. What you got, Chris? What's your favorite parody song not done by you?
Not done by me. Oh, good question. I was thinking of The Lonely Island, but that's not strictly parody. Parody song. Maybe all the way back to Alan Sherman.
Hello, Mudda, hello, Fana?
That was a parody of a classical piece, so let's go with that. Sure, good idea.
Yeah, Alan Sherman. And if you're not familiar with him, look him up. You will laugh, promise. Hey, what's your name?
Sean. So I was wondering, with movie reboots being really big right now, when are we getting a reboot of UHF, and what dying format would you base it on?
Interesting. Movie studios generally don't spend a lot of money to reboot films that bombed at the box office 40 years ago. I don't know why. Seems like a no-brainer to me. I don't know. It's not likely to happen, but you know, it's been pitched to me, and it seems obvious. Like if it were to happen, it would be based on some kind of streaming service or something that's more contemporary. Even when we released UHF in 1989, UHF was sort of an anachronism. I mean, the ultra high frequency channels were basically either going away or about to go away, and in fact, when we released that movie overseas, they didn't even want to call it UHF. So I said, okay, well, we'll call it the Vidiot. And they said, okay, great, we'll call it the Vidiot from UHF. Like, no, that makes no sense. We don't care, that's what we're doing. So there you go.
Good one. Al, we have a few minutes left, but I think if we go to a lightning round, I think we could take care of everybody in line.
You think so?
With that?
Let's
I think
try it.
so.
Okay.
All right, let's try it. Now, when I do this, I actually go back to the end to keep people from stopping on the end, so I'm going to come back here. All right, everybody, here's the way this works. What's your name, what's your question, and go. Just go straight to the question. A reminder, that's one sentence followed by a question mark. Okay, what's your name? What you got?
Shane. I was just wondering what the inspiration was for Weasel Stomping Day.
I wanted to do a song about the ridiculousness of tradition, and that there's a lot of traditions in the world which make no sense and are, in fact, sometimes hurtful or harmful, and yet we follow them for the pure reason, oh, we've always done it this way.
What's your name, what's your question?
Chris, has there ever been a parody that or a song that you were going to do a parody of that you couldn't think of anything, and then later on you were like, now I got it, but it was too late?
No, I don't. No, because I really give it a lot of thought and before I give up on it. So there are many songs that I wish I could have done a parody of, but I never came up with a good enough concept for it. And a lot of those songs actually wind up in the polka medley.
Hey, what's your name?
Hey, I'm Chaz, and I want to know, do you still love Rocky Road, or has that changed?
You know, I wrote that song in 1982, I think it was. And to promote it, we had all these Rocky Road ice cream eating contests. Which kind of burnt me out. So if it was ever my favorite ice cream, it's probably not anymore.
Okay, all right, you're breathing. Okay, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Layla.
And what you got, Layla?
Do you ever get scared when you do things like these, like Q&As and performances?
I wasn't scared until just now.
Thanks for ruining it for us. No, I'm kidding. No, you're fine, you're fine. Good question, thank you. Hey, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Havoc. I was wondering if, from the official music video that come out for Pokemania, if you had a favorite like part of the animation.
Oh, there are several. You know, I hate to say that because anytime if I single somebody out, it's sort of like dissing the rest of the animators. So I really appreciate everybody's work, and I think I was really proud of the job that everybody did.
Hey, what's your name? What you got?
Joe, I'm a close and personal friend of yours. There was something I was reading, that's what it said. If you're still reading this, good to see you again. What I'm wondering is the first person who called you Weird Al. Any idea what's ever happened to him since then?
I don't know if it was there was one person in particular that I remember. I think it was Dan Goodwin. You know him. He was in my college dorms. But he might have been the first, or there could have been a couple other people. But my freshman year in college, people just saw me walking down the hall and go, "Oh, there goes Weird Al." And I don't think they meant it as a compliment. But when I started doing college radio, I took on the name Weird Al as my professional air name because it seemed appropriate. And I just kind of decided to own it at that point. But I haven't talked to Dan in about 45 years, so I don't know what he's up to these days. But if I hear from him, I'll let you know.
Hey, what's your name?
My name's Rowan Red, and I'm wondering, what are the chances you're going to bring back the stash and give us a solid hamster buddy cop flick?
Ooh. Well, my facial hair comes and goes. My wife seems to like it, so when I'm not on the road, chances are my face hair will grow out again. And I'm always up for a hamster buddy cop flick.
Hey, what's your name?
Jay. What you got? I was wondering, you have different kinds of accordions. What's your favorite one to use?
You know, I just like the one I have in my living room at the moment. It's a traditional accordion, and I've got a MIDI accordion, which is super cool because it can emulate virtually any instrument. And I brought that along when I did my vanity tours because I had to, on the accordion, play horn sections and string sections and piano and clavinet and all sorts of different things. But just a generic old school accordion. And I found most of my accordions either at pawn shops or on Craigslist. So like I'll find a good deal on Craigslist and I'll show up at this guy's house and he'll go, oh, I should have charged you more. I didn't know it was you.
Fun way. Great cosplay, by the way. So, okay, our last one. Hey, what's your name?
Reba, I was wondering, what was your favorite decade to perform in and why?
Whoa.
Oh, I'm going to say this one because I'm having a great time.
Good one. Oh, I have a question. Al, okay, you said you had some things to work. Is there anything on the horizon that you are allowed to share?
No.
No, absolutely done. Okay, then we will stay tuned on social media. But one final question. Do you want to take a picture with this wonderful audience?
I would. Let's do
Okay.
that.